At 25 years old, $500 feels like a lot of money to give up every month. Not in some complicated financial way, in a painfully simple way. Rent is due. The car needs gas. Your friend's birthday is next weekend. There's food in the fridge, but ordering something sounds easier after a long day. The money already has a purpose before it even arrives. That's how most people live. Not broke, not rich, just pre-spent. Every dollar already mentally claimed before payday hits. And somewhere in the middle of that cycle, you hear people talk about investing. You've probably downloaded an investing app before, opened it, looked at the charts, saw words like ETF, index funds, expense ratio, and within 30 seconds, you felt like you accidentally walked into a college class you forgot to study for. So you closed the app, because the financial world has a strange way of making beginners feel late. Like everyone else got the instructions years ago except you. Then one night, while scrolling, you see a number. Someone explains what happens if you invest $500 every month for 30 years. At first, you think the number is fake. Then you calculate it yourself, and suddenly, you feel something strange. Not excitement, regret. Because for the first time in your life, you realize time is not unlimited anymore. And the scary part isn't that investing is difficult. The scary part is understanding how expensive waiting can become. $500 a month is $6,000 a year. That sounds like a lot until you compare it to real life. It's less than what many people spend on restaurants and takeout, less than yearly car payments, less than random online shopping that nobody remembers 6 months later. The point isn't guilt. The point is this. Every dollar you spend is quietly choosing between your present comfort and your future freedom. Most people never notice they're making that trade. One day, you decide to start. Not because you suddenly became disciplined. Not because you mastered the stock market. You start because you finally understand something important. Not investing is also a decision, and that decision has consequences too. So you automate it. $250 into a Roth IRA. $250 into an index fund. 1st and 15th of every month. No motivation needed. No emotional decision-making. Just a system. 3 months pass. Nothing dramatic happens. Your account shows maybe $1,600. The market went up a little, then down a little. Honestly, it feels underwhelming. And this is where most people quit. Because the human brain loves visible rewards. You go to the gym. You expect muscles. You study. You expect grades. You work overtime. You expect more money. But investing feels invisible in the beginning. The money you didn't spend just sits there quietly. Meanwhile, the money you would have spent disappears instantly. And weirdly enough, spending always feels more emotionally rewarding in the moment. That's why building wealth feels so unnatural at first. You're sacrificing things today for a version of yourself you haven't even met yet. A trip gets planned. A new phone comes out. Your car suddenly starts making a weird noise. Every month gives you a reason to stop investing. And honestly, every reason sounds valid. But you don't stop. You treat investing the same way you treat rent. Non-negotiable. The money leaves your account before life gets a chance to spend it for you. And slowly, something begins changing. Not just your account balance. You. After 1 year, your account sits around $6,400. Not enough to retire. Not enough to impress anyone. But something bigger happened. You proved to yourself that you can survive without spending every dollar you earn. That realization changes people. Because before this, $500 felt impossible to save. Now it feels normal. Your lifestyle adjusted. And that's when you understand one of the biggest financial truths nobody teaches properly. Most people don't stay broke because they earn too little. They stay broke because every increase in income immediately becomes an increase in lifestyle. A better car, more subscriptions, more convenience, more monthly payments. You did the opposite. You created distance between what you earn and what you spend. And that distance slowly becomes peace. 3 years pass. Your account crosses $20,000. For the first time, the numbers start feeling real. Not because they're huge, because they're growing faster now. The money from year 1 is earning money. The money from year 2 is earning money. Every layer is stacking on top of the last one. This is compound interest. Not magic, not luck. Just consistency repeated long enough. And the strange thing is, the account starts growing even when you don't think about it. You begin checking it less often because you finally understand. The goal isn't excitement. The goal is ownership. Ownership of your future. Ownership of your time. Ownership of choices most people never get to make. 5 years in, the account reaches around $42,000. You contributed $30,000 yourself. The market added the other $12,000. $12,000 earned without extra hours, without a side hustle, without burnout, just patience. And during those 5 years, the market crashed more than once. Bad headlines everywhere. People panicking online. Videos screaming about recessions. Predictions about economic collapse. Earlier in life, those headlines would have terrified you. Now, you stay calm, because you've already seen something important. The market always feels permanent while it's falling, and temporary after it recovers. That lesson changes how you react to fear forever. You stop seeing market crashes as disasters. You start seeing them as normal, because volatility is the price of long-term growth. 10 years pass. The account crosses $100,000. Psychologically, this feels different. Below $100,000 feels like savings. Above $100,000 feels like momentum. Now the market itself is contributing more yearly growth than your own deposits. Think about that. Your investments are now working harder than you are. This is the crossover point. The moment compounding becomes the main engine. And suddenly, the future stops feeling so fragile. Unexpected expenses still happen. Life still gets messy. But underneath all of it, there's now a financial foundation quietly growing in the background. And foundations change people. You stop panicking over every small setback, because deep down, you know something is being built. 15 years in, the account reaches around $200,000. You look back at the younger version of yourself who felt intimidated by investing apps and financial language. That version of you thought wealthy people had secret strategies. But wealth was never really built through genius. It was built through repetition. The automatic transfers. The months you stayed invested during crashes. The boring consistency nobody posts online because it isn't flashy enough. That's what actually built the money. Nobody congratulates discipline while it's happening. Because from the inside, discipline looks boring. It just looks like routine. 20 years pass. The account grows past $300,000. At this point, average yearly market growth alone can equal months of working income. And the craziest part? You didn't need to predict anything. You didn't need to become a financial expert. You didn't beat Wall Street. You simply stayed in the game longer than most people. That's the secret almost nobody believes when they're young. Consistency sounds weak in the short term, but in the long term, consistency becomes power. By now, your income has probably increased too. Your life improved. Better experiences. More stability. But the original $500 investment never stopped. Because once you understand compounding, stopping feels like cutting down a tree you spent decades growing. 30 years pass. You are 55 years old now, and the account sits near $600,000. You personally contributed around $180,000. The market contributed the rest. Hundreds of thousands of dollars created because one young person made one small decision repeatedly for decades. Not a perfect decision, not a genius decision, just a consistent one. And somewhere tonight, another 25-year-old is staring at their bank account. There's $500 sitting there. Not enough to completely change their life, but enough to quietly shape it. That money could disappear into another ordinary month. A few dinners, a weekend trip, random purchases that will slowly fade from memory. Or it could become the beginning of something invisible, something slow, something boring at first, something life-changing later. Because this was never really about $500. It was about identity. About becoming the type of person who invests before they feel ready. The type of person who understands future freedom is built quietly. The type of person who realizes wealth is rarely created through dramatic moments. Usually, it's created through small decisions, repeated without interruption. And the truth is, the market does not care whether you feel confident. Compound interest does not care whether you feel motivated. The math only cares whether you continue. 30 years will pass no matter what you do. The only real question is this. When those years are gone, what will your past decisions have built for you?